spelled like it sounds, .net. And anyway, I'll just Google.
Clean off that microphone
for
now.
a minute. Just Google and make it easy on yourself. Google Pure Guardian. Now, Pure Guardian, what it does is it will block people trying to get in and what they call packets and monitor your PC. They're trying to see what you're accessing. The government does it, and quite a few organizations around the world do it, particularly in Europe and the United States. They're continually sending these packets out to monitor what it is that you're accessing on your PC. You can block them.
You know how these packets get on your computer?
Why didn't you explain that to us, GC?
Well, primarily, ladies and gentlemen, this is one thing that everyone should very much be cognizant of. For one, how these packets get onto your computer are a few ways. One is the most traditional way right now is spam emailing. You click on anything in your spam email, and it will start downloading something to your computer so they can track what you do on the internet, where you shop, etc., etc. The other ways are much more sinister. I mean, it's a terrible thing. And again, it can be controllable with proper virus protection and techniques to keep your computer clean. But if you go to a particular website, some of these some websites can be hacked. And what I mean by that is, if you have a website, you're Joe Blow, you have a website up showing your family pictures and so forth, that particular website can be vulnerable. And how it's vulnerable is certain hackers will go into that particular segment of that hosting server and be able to put some programming into it where whenever anybody goes to that website, it will shoot up a pop-up that will entice a recipient, a user of that website, to click on it to either close it via the red X, the dreaded red X, which should not stand for close. It should stand for stop, don't push it, and or any link or button that may be on that pop-up. If you click any of that, they all have the same effect. Just because it says yes, no, okay, cancel, or red X does not necessarily mean what it actually is saying. If I'm a clever programmer, I can make that button do anything that I want.
Well, that's a good point.
So you want to be careful with what you click on, and that's basically how you get this fraudulent material on their computer, because people come to me constantly and say, I didn't do anything.
Well, that is a major way. But because I monitor mine continuously using Pure Guardian, as well as the Wireshark. Wireshark also shows me, it used to be known as Ethereal, but they dropped that moniker due to copyright of names. I've noticed Comcast does it. And they're not doing it because of spamming. They do it because they're a service provider, so they can send all the packets they want. And what they're targeting, and they deny this, and they can deny it all they want, but I see it on my PC, is the people who use peer-to-peer downloading, which is a tremendous segment of the internet-using population. They're trying to get in there, and they do. They successfully get in there unless you block them using a protocol such as Pure Guardian. Actually, I'm not sure if Pure Guardian even works in the case of Comcast, but what they do is if you're doing a peer-to-peer download, it doesn't matter whether it's a legal download or what could be construed as illegal because it's copyrighted. They will try to keep turning off that connection with your BitTorrent download application. So those of you using BitTorrent and uTorrent, my favorite, Comcast is continually trying to interrupt your connection and turn it off, and then BitTorrent is reacting by trying to turn it back on, which is slowing your download or your upload off. Now this is technically legal, and Congressman Rick Boucher, B-O-U-C-H-E-R, has even told Comcast to stop interfering with BitTorrent. So there are some Congress people out there that are on our side and recognize the danger of people controlling your access.
Are you advocating then sharing files and
Absolutely, because if you share files, in no way means that you are doing something illegal unless you are downloading material that has a current copyright. Now, the majority of material out there that's available in the world, we're not just talking about music here, we're talking about documents, documentary videos, old movies that copyright no longer applies to. There is no reason in the world, if this is legal content out there, that people cannot have access to it in the most efficient way by peer-to-peer file sharing.
Primarily, it's just another way for them to try to make money, because if you're downloading and sharing things free, somebody isn't getting paid.
They don't like it. They want your buck.
Exactly, and that's, it's a worthy fight, to keep that free. Again, you don't want the government to regulate. You yourself, as a end user, please, I implore you to research. Go to invisus.com, INVISUS.com, to help protect your computer, or contact my office, and I'll tell you how to protect your computer much more effectively. But try not to let our computers fall prey to the fact that we want, as a society, government to regulate our internet, because it will definitely be the downfall. This is our one last greatest hope for this country to survive.
Well, for the planet in general.
Exactly.
The internet knows no borders.
Our governments throughout the entire world are so much smaller than us as a people, that we have to realize this and empower ourselves to make the internet free for everyone forever.
I tell you what, absolutely, I could not agree more. The one, just to give you an example of this, is when it's compromised. I'm a huge fan of Google, as so many people are, and I hope they don't lose the good path they've been on, where evil, do no evil is their guiding mission statement, and I really hope it holds up. But they were reprimanded. I don't know whether it's legally reprimanded, but in their compromising with the government Chinese and permitting censorship of what the Chinese public are allowed access to on the internet, they actually turned over IP addresses of people accessing forbidden content via Google. And one man went to jail in China for 10 years because of the information provided by Google. There is nothing that I can say good about that. That is a horrible thing that has been done.
It is horrible, but on a lighter note, there's even something more horrible than that.
Well, I don't know if the guy doing 10 years in China feels that way.
Well, what may be more horrible to us here in America is the Wi-Fi revolution and the inability to sometimes connect to your Wi-Fi router.
Listen, if you ever hear me there in China in that dark, damp cellular, and believe me, I commiserate with you, and I realize that you think your case is much more serious than what TC is expounding on.
I have to say, I received a call yesterday around 9:30 at night from a client of mine who is so distraught at the fact that they can't get on the internet. The distress in that person's voice was as equally strong as that person who was incarcerated for 10 years in some China dungy cell.
I'm not commenting on that, TC. When you pull that other foot out of your mouth, we'll go on from there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, today, my little tip of the day for you is to help you recover from a internet disconnect. Mostly this is due to this conversation that I want to have with you would be in the wireless environment, but it also falls true when it comes to the wired environment. Because a lot of my clientele will have a wireless router next to a desktop computer that is directly plugged into it, and then subsequent computers, laptops and computers in other rooms are then wireless. It's so much easier when it comes to the wiring problem. But they do tend to go down, whether it be with Verizon or Comcast. And I want to go through the procedure and how to turn your internet back on. And the reason why I want to go through this is because of this distraught person that had called me at 9:30 at night. And not only that, I have had gotten calls from people who say that they were down for 2 and 3 days straight when they could have resolved the problem literally in less than 5 minutes. And to break it down, the first step that you want to do if you ever lose your internet connection is you want to approach the modem. There are two components that are part of today's day and age network, broadband network, and it is the modem and it is the router. Now you may have where you have the router and the modem built into one, and I'll get into that in just a moment. For the most part, we're going to go with the two-tier system. You want to unplug the power of that modem first, and then unplug the power for the router second. And basically, some of these modems and routers don't have on and off switches, So you have